SuperHead list is way crazier than you remember. A timeline of chaos that still burns like an ember. From Hollywood nights to industry pressure, this story's so wild that it still can't be censored. Now in this video I'm going to be talking about Karrine Steffans, a video vixen from the late 90s and early 2000s who's better known by the name SuperHead. And she was a woman that rappers just couldn't stop talking about, as well as one that Hollywood tried to silence. Now her dating history consists of some of the biggest names in not only rap, but also Hollywood in general. And I'm talking Jay-Z, 50 Cent, Usher, even Shaquille O'Neal was in there. Now the thing that set Karrine Steffans apart from all the other video vixens of the time was the fact that she put out a tell-all book about her time in the industry. And the title of the book was Confessions of a Video Vixen. This book went on to become a New York Times bestseller. And it's also one of the reasons that we're able to know so much about her time in the industry. And when I say this book was a big deal, it was a big deal.
Peace, SuperHead. I'm glad you're doing good with your book, girl, but you're living dangerous. Chill out.
I mean, that's just, wow. Whew, I feel bad for those dudes in that book.
Her whole point is she's selling a product. So she's doing whatever she could do to make money and to get notoriety.
If you're in this book and you don't like what you read, then you shouldn't have done it, and hopefully you won't do it again.
My thoughts on Karrine Steffans is that she talks too much. She's basically talking about everything that goes on behind closed doors. That's why they're behind closed doors.
You see, the Boondocks even referenced her in one of their episodes, where they had a character who went by the name Wonder Cheeks instead of SuperHead. And in the episode of the Boondocks, the character even had a book very similar to Karrine Steffans. Now a little backstory on Karrine. She was born in the US Virgin Islands, and her early life wasn't glamorous, it was actually survival. When you listen to interviews of her talking about her childhood, it sounds very chaotic and not like a place for a respectable young woman to be raised. Either way, by 17, she moved to Los Angeles chasing her dreams of acting and music videos. You know, the same dream that thousands of young women have every single year. And pretty quickly, she found herself on hip-hop sets, dancing, performing, and catching the attention of the biggest names in the game. But as her name began circulating, she became known, not for what she created, but for who she was linked to. And in this clip, you can see Karrine explain how she got the name SuperHead.
I do believe that there are a string of women historically who possess power, and a lot of times that power is distributed.
SuperHead is a moniker that I gave myself in a personal relationship of mine that I had with an artist, and it was a joke between us based on our love life, and it was all of those things.
Her first major relationship was with rapper Kool G Rap, and they lived together and even had a son. Mind you, she was only 17 years old at the time, and she described the relationship as physically abusive and controlling. And Kool G Rap actually responded during a DJ Vlad interview, and he basically said that he wasn't going to respond because G's don't do that. To me and a bunch of people in the comments, he's stumbling over his words because he was guilty.
Even though she put out a book, you know, saying this and that about me or whatever, you know what I'm saying? I'm not the type of dude that's gonna, you know, oh, you did that? You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not gonna do that for the sake of the public.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Sure. Because I'm not a circus act. I'm a real dude.
In the late 90s and early 2000s, Karrine started dating Usher, who she met at the club. Mind you, during this time, Usher was still up and coming in the industry. This was before Confessions. And she said when they first met, he was a super nice and sweet guy. But their relationship initially ended after he met and fell in love with singer Chili from TLC. Karrine and Usher reunited in 2004. And at this point, Usher was a superstar. Yeah, now he's dropped Confessions and Usher is at the top of the world. She said that he changed, and at this point, he was no longer that nice guy that he used to be. And she even gave an example of this, saying that she was going down, giving him that hot tour, and he was just saying condescending things to her the whole time. According to Karrine, she longed for him to be the man that he used to be. But after all this newfound fame and money, he just couldn't be anymore. One of the crazier things that she revealed in her book about Usher, it's the fact that she said after Usher would sleep with her, he would try to talk to her about changing her ways and to not be so fast in the industry. Sad to say, I don't think those talks were going to work. Because shortly after her first stint with Usher and in the early 2000s, Karrine was linked to Busta Rhymes, who she met at industry events and dated for about 6 months. According to Karrine, the relationship ended because Busta Rhymes didn't want to take it public. That's like wifing the community ball and going public with it and showing the whole world. And Busta Rhymes just didn't want to do that. Shortly after Busta, SuperHead moved on to Vin Diesel, and their connection began on the set of the 2003 movie A Man Apart, where they were both cast members. And this relationship, just like the last, was brief, but this one was more of a fling than a full-on relationship. Still, it remains as one of her most talked about relationships outside of the music industry. After Vin Diesel, Karrine was linked to Bobby Brown, and their relationship began when Bobby was still married to Whitney Houston. During an interview with DJ Vlad, Karrine said that Bobby Brown was bad for her. She said that he would drive intoxicated with her kid in the car, and at one point, he almost burned her house down due to his bad habits.
I don't talk to Bob. Bob wasn't a good person for my life. He wasn't a good person in my son's life. This is someone who would drive drunk with my son in the car with an open container, dropping him off to school. This is a dangerous person.
Like a beer, like a drink?
Beer, open, drunk already with an open beer in my Mercedes with my kid in the back going to school. It wasn't a good person to me or my son at that time. Almost burnt my house down, smoking a pipe in my backyard and putting it out in a dry plant. And I wake up and the wall is singed, outside my bedroom, and thinking I was asleep and this whole house could have burnt down because someone wants to smoke a pipe in my backyard.
Ultimately, the two had a passionate but short-lived connection that ended after 10 months. And the final straw of the relationship was when she recorded him sleeping on her couch, making him out to be a broke bum who was using her for a place to stay. After Bobby, Karrine dated Fred Durst, the frontman of the band Limp Bizkit. And she met Fred in a recording studio, and they dated for about a year before going their separate ways due to personal differences. After Fred Durst came Mos Def, Young Buck, and Twista. Now, she dated these 3 rappers all in the early to mid 2000s, and all of the relationships were short, but they really show you how intertwined she was into the whole rap scene. In 2005, after appearing on Real Time with Bill Maher, the two began dating, and even going to the Emmy Awards together that year. They stayed together for about 17 months, which is a surprisingly long relationship for Hollywood. While speaking on him, Karrine said that Bill Maher treated her with respect, and that the two separated amicably. Around the same time as Bill, Karrine met Chris Rock, and they met at a mutual friend's party. When detailing their relationship in the book, she said that their chemistry was strong but short-lived, lasting only a few months, and they split due to differences in lifestyles and different outlooks of life. Now, to me, Chris Rock probably just wanted to chill, and being with SuperHead in the early 2000s was not no just easy chill thing to do. After Chris Rock, she met her most infamous and longest on and off relationship, and I'm talking about with rapper Lil Wayne. Now, according to Karrine, she met Lil Wayne through her pusher.
I met Wayne in 2007 through a mutual friend. My pusher.
Now, pusher is just an old school way of saying her dealer. And before the first link, her and Lil Wayne talked for about 3 weeks. That's when she booked her own flight to go see him.
We talked for, I think it was like 3 weeks, just on the phone and texting and stuff. And eventually I just got tired of texting, and I booked a flight. And I texted him from the airport and I said, listen, I'm on this flight coming in at this time. I'll see you in 6 hours. And he said, what? No one ever does that. I always have to book flights. I said, well, I have my own money. I'm booking my own flight.
Now, Karrine spoke about Lil Wayne openly in interviews and books, calling him the love of her life that understands her more than most. Despite their connection, the relationship ended due to infidelity and lifestyle differences, but she says that she will always love Lil Wayne and that her other relationships would have to deal with that.
Wayne has been around since before my first husband. So he's always been part of my relationship. So when I get into a relationship, He's the only thing they ask about because they know. Well, what about Wayne? Will you stop seeing Wayne? I hear it. I've heard it. And the answer is always no. You either get over it or you leave. Those are your options because I'm not getting rid of him.
Ultimately, she said that she got over Lil Wayne in 2012, although she had been married in between.
And it took me until actually 2012 to be done with a relationship that started in 2007. That's after I got married again. Because even when I was married to my second husband, that relationship wouldn't go away.
After Lil Wayne, Karrine dated Family Matters actor Darius McCrary, and the two met at a Hollywood event. Shortly after meeting, the couple quickly got engaged. But their relationship was volatile, with accusations of domestic abuse. Here you can hear Darius speak on the relationship in an interview with DJ Vlad.
It was a very tumultuous relationship because we were young. And, I have a certain je ne sais quoi, that has been known to affect the fairer sex in certain ways, to where reactions, can be adverse, And at the time, man, I wasn't aware enough to understand that beautiful women are like exotic cars. They take a lot of maintenance. I mean, you get a Rolls Royce, man, the brake job is $10,000 alone. So you can't just run a Rolls Royce, if you're not expecting to pay for that brake job. It was a very expensive and tumultuous situation, man. And, it's pretty much the reason why I don't drive a Rolls Royce to this day.
And one of Darius McCrary's most famous quotes about the relationship was, "If you could turn a hoe into a housewife, it would have worked with Karrine Steffans."
Well, you had a quote, and it was mentioned in the documentary. You said, if you could turn a hoe into a housewife, Karrine would be the one.
Pretty much. Yeah, man. Because, at the time, I feel this way about most women who have had difficult walks of life. They're very appreciative. Most women are very appreciative when they do come across something that is worth having, and they'll fight for it and they want to keep it because they know what the alternative is.
But Karrine viewed it all in a different way. She said that she kicked Darius out of their house and their relationship due to him hopping on an interview calling her a leech and a bad mother. And she also claimed that he stole her cars, money, and even abused her.
You guys interviewed him separately. And he gave his scathing interview and then came back home to my house, ate up my food, drove my Mercedes. And I'm taking care of your son and I'm paying for everything. And look who's saying that I am a leech and whatever else he said. But the whole time he was with me, he was constantly berating me publicly and then coming home and beating me.
Although Darius denies ever doing so.
I would never raise my hand to a woman.
We've had 3 major, potentially life-threatening altercations.
I don't feel that any human being, man or woman, should ever use violence to settle anything.
I just remember being on my bed and him over me with this part of his arm over my neck.
She won't even give me my last name back. In fact, I've dropped my last name. I'm just Darius now.
Either way, they divorced in 2011, and to this day, Darius claims that she was the one stalking him and that he never did any of those things to her.
Go to SuperHead versus the car online, surf the net for it, and look at her jumping up and down the back of my car like a monkey, and you tell me who was being stalked.
A few years after her first marriage didn't work out, Karrine was linked to Columbus Short, and she announced it on Instagram, calling the actor her legal husband. But within 4 months, the marriage fell apart, ending in a public and emotional split. At one point, she literally aired out their dirty laundry about how her husband was a cheater. She posted a video with all his stuff on the floor calling him out, as well as an eerie video of him very quiet while she asked if he has anything to say.
Nobody has anything to say. Nobody has anything to say. Oh, hi, Columbus. Huh. You okay? You feeling okay?
So yeah, basically, she found out he cheated, she kicked him out the house, and Columbus responded in tweets saying, "It's unfortunate that things ended up the way they did. It ain't the first time that I've been homeless, but it will definitely be the last." Now that's just wild, but for time purposes, I didn't list everybody that Karrine was linked to in this video, because she was also linked to other people like Keith Murray and even Diddy. But to keep the video shorter, I picked the relationships that were the most interesting to me. Now, if you made it this far in the video, make sure to hit that like button and the subscribe button because it's completely free. But in case I don't see you, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. Peace.